Hello everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Am I Going to Die? I'm Dr. Jeff Galps, Director of the ENT Institute, and here with Melissa Moritz, who is
Hello.
Chief in Charge.
Chief in Charge, yeah, okay,
Chief
I'll
of
take
getting
it.
stuff done.
I'm Melissa Moritz. I'm the Marketing Director here at the ENT Institute and the Chief Accountability Officer of Getting Stuff Done.
So anyway, we're excited to be with you today. Hopefully this will be a great topic. It's about vaccines. Can you die from them, right?
Am I going to die from vaccines or not?
Or the
being
illness
vaccinated?
itself.
Right.
So we're excited to take this on because it isn't that hard, it's not that complicated, but there are a lot of myths out there, so we're going to talk about it. First, what is a vaccine? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's for you.
So,
what is a vaccine? Tell us. We're dying to know.
Okay, so here's what a vaccine is. They take the virus or the bacteria, and it is, if you will, essentially dead. But it has components we call the antigen. That means it's a dead version of it or a part of version of the bacteria or the virus. You inject it into the muscle, and the immune system recognizes that as if it's still alive. Okay? It produces antibodies to it so that in the future, if you're infected with this virus or bacteria, it's noticed very quickly and your immune system kills it so it doesn't spread. It's that simple. So everything that you're injected with nowadays is dead, whether it's a virus or whether it's a bacteria.
But it's got pieces of living to it.
Yeah, well, they're not living, they're dead, but
They're
the proteins are there. And that's why they have to be in preservatives, and we'll talk about those things as we move along.
That's right. Formaldehyde.
Well, we can, So, but they're good things. They're there. They've been medically proven to work, but there's a lot of fear or consternation there.
A lot of controversy. A lot of controversy, especially among the mom groups, social media, to vaccinate, not to vaccinate. I think one of the reason we wanted to ask this question this week is because of the measles. The measles are out and about and taking over and putting states into state of emergencies about people catching the measles right now. So that's a vaccination that you can prevent against.
You can, absolutely. Right. And so there are always pockets of outbreaks because not everybody is vaccinated. Those that have been vaccinated against it will not get the disease. Those that have, if you have been vaccinated, you will not get the disease. If you have not been vaccinated, you will. And there are significant childhood illnesses that we're trying to prevent. Measles, mumps, rubella, and older population, pneumonia and shingles that are very debilitating. But the number of infant deaths has dramatically declined since we've had vaccinations.
But for those parents who decide not to vaccinate, they're more susceptible to
absolutely.
Catching these
so
diseases.
They can. And so, but a lot of people have used the excuse that, well, everybody's vaccinated. If my kid's not, then he's not going to get it anyway. But that's not true because somebody could be vaccinated, come in contact with somebody who's not vaccinated, who has the disease, and pass it along to your child because your child's not vaccinated. So you do see these outbreaks because of the concerns about vaccinations. The big issue is, to me, as a physician, as a parent, as a patient, is why do people avoid these vaccinations when we know that they're safe, right?
That's a very good point. And I think one of the main reasons people avoid these vaccinations are for a lot of social media, a lot of news networks pick up on some of these stories. And how about autism? Because that's probably the biggest one here.
Yeah, there's been a lot of celebrity behind autism, what happens. So let me tell you the facts. So in 1997, a paper was written in England and published in The Lancet that said autism could be linked to vaccinations. That since has been disproven completely by 3 different studies. So now it could be coincidental because that does happen. There are coincidences. So we now need to quit perpetuating this rumor that it causes autism because we have scientific data that has disproven the study that said it did cause it because it was faulty. It was a faulty study.
Okay, so this is huge. Right here, right now, am I going to die on vaccinations? And we are saying autism and vaccinations, total myth.
Total myth. Total
Huge.
myth. And it's based on actual scientific data. But
So we didn't just make that up
no,
or
we didn't.
pull it out of
We didn't make that up,
thin
and you
air.
can Google. You can find it. It's there.
So if
it's
you got
great.
nothing
It's easy. You
else
got the
from us
information.
at all, there you got it. Vaccinations and autism not linked together.
Right. That's correct.
That's huge.
What else do you want to know?
What about being vaccinated for life?
Well, that's not true. That may be true, but like anything else, it does wane. The strength of it can wane over time. So if you're concerned, always get revaccinated. Right?
Booster.
Yeah, a booster, but essentially it's the vaccine again.
Oh, it's the vaccine
You just
again.
need to make sure. But if you have good records, listen, go to your pediatrician. They oversee this. The county health departments do too. But your pediatrician is really key to maintaining your vaccination records and your vaccination health. And they will know exactly what the guidelines are. The American Academy of Pediatrics is very vigilant about vaccinations. Right? Yes, some pediatricians have different views or opinions, but the reality is, I guess I'm a cold-hearted, kind of surgeon. I'm like, no, you need vaccines and you need pediatricians to oversee that for your child.
So let's talk about pediatricians. So as a mom, and I always bring in my personal, like as a mom, because I think a lot of our viewers are in that wheelhouse, right? You're a mom to young kids or kids growing up, and how about putting them on a prolonged vaccination schedule?
Well, sometimes if, say, a child has asthma in particular.
It's exactly what I did. My son has asthma, and I asked the pediatrician, would he be okay with doing the prolonged vaccination schedule?
And yes, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They have proven that that works. It is effective, almost as effective as giving a full dose, and maybe it is as effective. Honestly, that could be a matter of opinion, but they've shown that it does work and does meet the criteria for vaccination. So but it's more inconvenient, so you generally just want to get one vaccination. But if you have a health risk that could exacerbate asthma as a concern, then yes, they have proven that this step method works.
This is great information.
Well, but if I'm a child, I don't want to have 2 or 3 injections. Give it to me one time, right? So there's not a lot of motivation to drag this out unless, the child has some other extenuating circumstance. So that's why you need the advice of your pediatrician.
Right. And the doctor-mom instinct, too. I mean, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Well, nowadays people do ask questions, and with social media, we've got tons of information out there. You can learn. I always refer to the moms as, Dr. Mom, Dr. Dad. You know your child better than anyone. You know your body better than anyone. So, ask the questions. But vaccines have been developed. They've cured disease. They have prolonged human life and prevented tons of suffering because people die from measles, mumps, and rubella.
And that's what's going on right now. But here's one that I want to touch on because I'm a little bit jealous of this one. Chickenpox vaccine. God, I wish I had been vaccinated against the chickenpox. So where'd that come from?
Well, it was just, back in the day, you get chickenpox vaccine, then they got rid of it because they had it under better control. And I actually have a scar from mine.
Yeah, if you picked the pox.
Right.
I have one as well.
So
they had it, then they stopped.
Well, because then they discovered that they didn't need that. It's just that simple. I mean, it's good medicine, people doing the right research. Unfortunately, here in America, we have the Center for Disease Control, based here in Atlanta, of all things. God knows how many weird viruses are frozen not many miles from where we are right now, honestly. But anyway, I've been vaccinated, so I'm good with it. Right?
Oh, wonderful.
Right?
And then for older adults, so we said, you need a booster. And then what about for older adults? Because there's things for over 60-year-olds.
That's right. Shingles in particular, so anybody at age 60, you need to get shingles vaccine.
Even if you've had chickenpox?
No, if you haven't. Some people say, well, I've never had it, so I don't have the virus in me, so I don't need to be vaccinated. No, you do, because you may have had a small form of chickenpox, right? You may not know that you had it. I had a small form of it. But at age 60, you should be vaccinated for shingles. And age 65 for pneumococcal. And I think there are 2 injections for that. And listen, all of this, right? Thank you for pneumonia. God, I'm usually good at just saying the layman terms, but I messed that up. So you need to get those things. Why? Because they prevent not only death, but tons of suffering, right? for these children that die of measles, mumps, rubella, or whooping cough, it is a miserable death. Okay,
Wow.
It is not pretty. You would never want your child to suffer death from that, even though it's not 100%. It's still a small percentage, but when it's you, it's 100%.
Wow.
So
I love this platform because I love to learn, love learning more about these topics that we choose. But I would say if we were to kind of bring it full circle this afternoon for am I going to die? Are you going to die from not being vaccinated?
well, that's highly likely more so. But nowadays, because so many people are vaccinated, the chance of you actually contracting the disease is small. But that's where the moral and ethics of this, if all of humanity, all of society is being vaccinated, then you're really at risk by not vaccinating. It's a moral ethical dilemma that you have to answer for yourself. But there's 6 preventable diseases that are deadly to children, right? Let me just make sure I get the whole list. Pneumococcal, hepatitis B, rotavirus, that's a big one, influenza, DPT, and measles, right? So get your DPT, your tetanus shot, right?
Yes.
And pertussis. Pertussis would be a bad way to die.
I don't know what that is.
And,
Pertussis?
Yeah, whooping cough.
Whooping cough, okay.
Right. And that's just in the time we have, those are the 6 things. They're preventable. You take vaccines. There are indications from them. Check with your pediatrician. They are the experts in this. They keep the files, and they are up on it all the time.
And as the Ear, Nose, and Throat Institute, we have same-day flu tests.
Yes, so we do. So it is that time of year now. People are getting the flu. Will continue. Listen, it's year-round, but it's just more prevalent now. So if you are concerned that you have influenza, the flu, then yes, we can test you to let you know if you do or don't. You could be that you don't have the flu, that you have a sinus infection. Any of those type things, certainly cough on up. That's what we do. We have same-day appointments, and we're experts in this area.
Wouldn't it be great to have a vaccine against strep throat?
Yes, it would if you had a strep vaccine, but it varies some. But there are sometimes things that you can use instead. We're actually looking at something that's a natural product of if you will, salt and water, hypochlorous that your body makes to kill. And we're thinking that some people can prevent needing antibiotics by using it. And It's not FDA regulated because it's naturally occurring. Right? In fact, I keep a bottle of it with me all the time. I haven't had a cold in about a year and a half because I use hypochlorous. Okay, yeah, don't hit me don't hit me in the head. Right. So, but that may be an alternative, and it's something that we're talking about. It's funny you bring that up because I know we hadn't even scheduled to talk about this. But hypochlorous is something that we make at the ENT Institute that has been around, is in several products. But it's just salt and water. Well, you can with the right device. It's electrolyzed salt and water, so it's hypochlorous solution. Check it out on the web, and you'll read. There's tons of information
message
out
us
there.
about it.
Yeah.
About it. We could do a segment on that.
Yeah.
I don't know about am I going to die, but we'll figure out a way. Like, am I going to die from germs?
Right.
We'll figure out a way to bring it in. But full circle today. First biggest myth that was just dispelled here that is great news to my ears anyway is you cannot
get autism. Right?
Autism from
You can't get
vaccinations.
autism. And then, there are several things that people say, well, they're preservatives and there's formaldehyde. Yeah, I mean, you naturally produce 5 times the amount of formaldehyde naturally in your body than is in the vaccine for a 2-month-old child.
You produce natural formaldehyde.
Right? You do. In aluminum, you get more aluminum probably from drinking Keurig pods than what's in there. All these things are preservatives, are in very small doses and non-toxic. But yes, you should be well informed that they're in there. But again, the risk of them causing a health issue is very small because they're in small quantities.
I always learn something new. So hopefully you found this valuable. Message us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to answer some of your questions. If you're concerned of what you might be dying from, well, we're all going to die someday, but if you are concerned about something that may be expediting your death, let us know, and we'll be happy to dispel the myths around it.
I know we're not trying to be naysayers here. We're trying to create
No.
some interest in
trying to be-
medicine and be helpful to you. So we're being a little playful with it, and we do that because we do have some answers. And most of these "Am I Going to Die" episodes center on the topic of myths. Right? I mean, it's just misinformation. So we're here to dispel misinformation, give you the right answers so that you can make your healthcare decisions, because after all, it's your health and your money and your choice about what you do for your healthcare.